Good evening. This is CTV News for Friday, December 11th. I'm Sonia Shrivastava. Glad to have you with us tonight. Well, a major shakeup in Prince George's as County Executive Rushern Baker announces leadership changes. Police Chief Mark McGaugh plans to retire from his current position at the end of the month to lead the county's Office of Public Safety. Hank Stawinski will replace McGaugh as interim police chief.
Serve as the new DCAO for Public Safety. I am confident that with his leadership, we will continue to enhance public safety in this county and improve the quality of life for all residents.
I'm very, very familiar with the police department's budget, but I'm not with the fire department or with corrections or with Homeland Security. So one of the first things to do going into a budget cycle is for me to understand what the budget is for each one of these agencies and understand what their needs are. My job is to make sure that I advocate for each one of these partners that are in public service.
There will not be great dramatic changes. There will be greater focus, there'll be new responsibilities, there'll be enhanced strategies, but there won't be dramatic shifts in our strategy that would lead to chaos. We want to keep things moving in the right direction consistently and in a measured way.
McGaugh replaces Barry Stanton, who will become the new Deputy CAO for Public Infrastructure, a position that's been vacant for the past year. Deputy Police Chief Javonia Whittington was appointed Acting Director of Homeland Security, and Thomas Himmler will officially serve as Deputy CAO for Budget, Finance, Administration, and Economic Development for the county, a position he has been acting in for the last year. And all are expected to take on their new roles in January. Now, several of the positions must still be confirmed by the county council. Well, it was a packed house last night as school CEO Dr. Kevin Maxwell delivered his State of the School System address at Flowers High School in Springdale. Maxwell outlined a $2 billion budget for the 2017 fiscal year, which includes $43 million for salary enhancements for teachers.
We live in one of the most competitive educational hiring markets in the nation. These funds will be used to attract and retain our educators. I'm also requesting an additional $5 million for professional development for our employees.
Recent scores on the PARCC test show that 37% of 8th graders in the county failed to meet basic expectations on the math exam, and 32% of 3rd graders did not perform well on the English Language Arts exam.
Really important for people to look at some of the kids you saw here tonight, 12-year-olds that are already, 12, 13, 14-year-olds that are already doing work at Harvard and Georgetown. I mean, we have a lot of really, really outstanding kids.
We see, whether it's our neighbors in Montgomery County or else places around the country, where they're succeeding, they're making the investment that counts for their children. That's all we're asking for now. It's not extraordinary when you look at the most successful school districts in the country.
The question always has been, what are we willing to invest in our children's education? How important that is to us. And your budget tells you what's important.
Now, Maxwell also wants to reduce class sizes, especially in kindergarten through 2nd grade. In addition, the budget proposal calls for the creation of a parent university, which would help parents become more involved in their children's education. Well, after several hours of debate, the controversy over the name of Byrd Stadium at the University of Maryland College Park finally came to an end. The Board of Regents voted 12-5 to change it to Maryland Stadium. That's because Harry Byrd, a former president of the school, was considered a segregationist. Denise Douglas has more on that story.
Even as the Board of Regents was set to vote on whether to change the name of Byrd Stadium, debate continued.
We can't label Dr. Byrd with charges of bigotry and racism that are patently incorrect. That's just not right.
One of the things I heard more than anything else was, by black students, how do we feel welcome at this university when one of the most important buildings on campus is named after someone who did not want me to be here? That is a common refrain.
Students have led the push to rename the facility, citing the fact that Harry Byrd, a segregationist, opposed racial integration in the early days of the civil rights movement. But supporters focus on his contributions, which include increasing enrollment, the faculty, and the size of the campus as the school's president.
He is arguably the most consequential individual to ever hold the position of president. of the University of Maryland. The progress that was made at this institution under his leadership is unmatched.
Current President William Lowe says he could see both sides of the argument.
What I have strived to do is to find a principled compromise between these two views.
Lowe was initially against the change, but decided to support it after getting feedback from a work group he formed to examine the issue.
And my suggestion was, we do not purge history. We recognize Curly Byrd, we honor him and memorialize him, not simply with a permanent exhibit in the library, but that other things do not go away.
After more than 2 hours of discussion, the 17-member board agreed in a 12-5 vote to change the name of the facility where the Terrapins play football to Maryland Stadium. Now, many are calling on the university to seize this opportunity to continue the conversation about race and take additional steps to improve diversity.
We're going to have a serious discussion throughout the spring semester here and come up with some programmatic changes that support this symbolic change, to hire more faculty, minority faculty, to create more substantive and effective dialogue.
Denise Douglas, CTV News.
A date has not been set for the removal of the current name, but a university spokesperson says that officials are working on setting a time frame. Well, a fatal four-car crash on the inner loop of the Capitol Beltway kills one person and injures 3 others this morning. The through lanes between Route 210 and the Woodrow Wilson Bridge in Oxon Hill were shut down at 6:30 a.m. for several hours. Officials say one person was pronounced dead on the scene, one was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and 2 others suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Now, Maryland State Police are investigating the cause of that accident. The trial of Baltimore police officer William Porter is winding down. The defense rested its case this afternoon. Closing arguments could begin on Monday. Now, Porter stands accused of manslaughter, assault, and misconduct in office. He is one of the 6 officers charged in the death of 25-year-old Freddie Gray. Gray died last April, sparking days of violent disturbances throughout the city.